at least when they are growing up, they don't come out to become a menace to the society?
Yeah, so we say parenting is 18 years, it's an 18 years journey. So whatever you've done in 18 years, you see the report card when the child is 18.
Okay.
So that's why moral value, very important.
Now we'll start this conversation taking a quote from Henry Ford. He once said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." I agree with that one. My next one will be from Dorothea Dix, who once said, "The duties of a teacher are neither few nor small, but they elevate the mind and give energy to the character." Absolutely spot on. My next one will be from Guy Kawasaki, who once said, "If you have to put someone on a pedestal, put teachers. They are society's heroes." Don't you agree? I'm sure you do. Last quote for today from the Japanese proverb. The one says, "Better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great teacher." Absolutely spot on. Now let's see how this quote relates to what we'll be discussing today. Very warm greetings and welcome to The Conversation. We're reaching you from Kaftan's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Annabelle Oji. Now, I'm sure a lot of you would relate to the fact that when it is resumption week, when you talk to parents, especially fathers, and you just say hi to them, the first thing they say, "Oh, please keep it to yourself. It's school fees week." So there's this apprehension with regards to resumption and then school fees week, because you have to pay school fees. The school fees, there's bus fee, there's so many things. Then aside from that, we also have this insecurity, incessant insecurity, especially in the Federal Capital Territory. A lot of parents have asked, how are we sure of how these schools are even securing our children? What are the measures they are putting in place, or they have put in place, to ensure that our children are safe when they go to school? And that's what we will be discussing today. I have two guests. My first guest is Ngupe Afiemo, who is an educational consultant and character education advocate. It is great to have you on the show again, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Great. And my next guest for today is Juliet Courages-Oshionwu, who is a director, the Director of Milestone Academy here in Abuja. It's great to have you on the show today, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, let's go on a quick break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Welcome to This Conversation. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation, reaching you from Kaftan's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Now, if you just joined us, I'm sure you do not know who my guests are, but then I will reintroduce them. I have two guests, and my first one here on the show today is Ngupe Afiemo, who is an educational consultant and character education advocate. And I also have Juliet Courages-Oshionwu, who is Director of Milestone Academy. All right, great to have you on the show again.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
Great, great. Okay, so now let's start with you,
Okay.
Ngupe Afiemo, because I know that you're an educational consultant, and I have a lot of people who would say, "Oh, okay, it is January is school fees week," with all of the razzmatazz, with all of the partying that we did in December. When you remember January, you just remember, "Oh, okay, so the dirty December, it means that if I come back in January, I have to wash it with either soap and Omo, or however you want to wash it."
Yeah.
And then that thought of the fact that children, school fees, and that's what's always on parents' minds. So when you just call one father and say, "Oh, hello sir, how are you doing today? I just called to say hi to you. God will bless you." You start praying for them. They say, "Okay, I know where this is going. Please, this is your school fees week, and it is resumption, so it means that it's time to pay school fees."
Yeah.
What is it with school fees week, and is it that teachers they already have like a template of the amount that makes parents always, I'm trying to find the right word, I don't want to say agitated, but frightened or something about school fees week?
I mean, anytime you have to spend money, especially huge sums of money, I'm sure there's that anxiety, especially if you didn't prepare well enough. The truth is, resumption week does not come as a surprise. The school calendar is fixed every year. So every parent knows that in September, you're going to have to pay new school fees. In January, you're going to have to pay another one, and then I think it's in April or May, you're going to have to pay another one. Okay. So it doesn't come, I mean, it's not out of nowhere. Nobody, springs it upon you to say it is time to pay fees. Everybody knows that these things have time, they have timelines. So the fact that parents always get so agitated when it comes to that, I mean, of course we understand it, but at the same time, I think that it just takes a lot of planning, foresight, and discipline and diligence. Just always bearing it in mind that I have this information beforehand. Yeah. So how am I preparing myself enough, so that I'm not stranded when the time comes? So it is not like anybody just wants to put the parents on edge. It's just that I think the parents also have that responsibility to adequately plan and prepare so that...
Okay, so now let's take lessons from you, because I know that you're also a parent and then an educational consultant. Yeah. So if I am that parent, especially to those who are watching us right now, who just feel that, okay, I've tried as much as possible to save, because I remember that regardless of how much I spend in December, January I have to pay school fees. Yeah. But then I've had so many parents who have come out to say that it's always not just working. I understand that, yes, there's January to pay school fees, but at that time I always have to, I'm not always able to pay all the school fees, because I have to now pay half or maybe pay some, and then sometimes the schools are not accepting. So would you advise such parents to put their budget in place so that it doesn't come to them as a shock?
So like, it's a thing of personal discipline. That's why I would take you back. Like I said, when you were introducing me, you said I'm a character education advocate. Yeah. These are the things that I think children have to start learning even from now. Oh, discipline. The fact that you have to delay gratification because you know that you have something ahead of you. A lot of adults don't know how to delay gratification, because like I said, school fees is not a shock, it's not a surprise to anybody. So even if it means, okay, at the end of every month I have this account where I'm going to be putting X amount of money, and no matter what happens, that money is for school fees, so that when the time comes, even if I don't have the complete amount of fees, I have a substantial amount, maybe at least 3/4 of the total amount. Okay. So discipline is at the core of what I'm talking about. You need to be able to discipline yourself. Sometimes the problem is that we get our priorities mixed up. And I'm not saying this because I am completely, on the other side, because I'm a parent as well. I'm saying that this is what we need to do. Okay. So we all need to have that discipline where we say to ourselves, this is what is important. And so I'm just going to allocate my funds in such a way that, yes, there is the part I'm keeping aside for, just spending and self-care and having fun. And then there's the part that it's a non-negotiable. School fees must be paid. It's one of those things that you can't, you just can't run away from it. You have to. So discipline, that's a core character traits that everybody needs to start working on, and we need to start it with our kids from now. Even if
when you say from now, when exactly, what age?
From as early as even 4 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yes, from as early as 4 years old, we have to start teaching children, things like financial discipline and financial literacy. Get children piggy banks. Say to them, oh, what is that one thing you want, at a certain time. Teach them to set goals. I know I'm going into something completely different, but it adds up at the end of the day. Because if you don't start practicing to do these things, then you will find yourself, in some of these embarrassing situations later in life when you become an adult. That is why you may find yourself being unable to cope with the whole fees payment thing and all that. Then another side to it is you need to also establish a good relationship with your child's school.
Okay.
Okay, so and in establishing a good relationship, one of the character traits that is important is integrity, because if in the past you have been able to live up to your word, maybe you give the school a certain date and you say, okay, I'm going to pay this amount today, and then when it comes to another date, expect the balance, and then you actually follow through and make that payment. The next time you come to them with such a request, they will not
they're really that understanding.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course, you need to. That's the thing. You can't just be a parent who goes to school, pays school fees, drops your child, and goes away. You need to build a relationship with the school management. They need to know you. You know, even if not in this financial aspect, but generally. But yes, if you might have all the money today, but you don't know what tomorrow is going to look like.
I agree.
So it's great to work towards building that relationship with your school's management, so that when the chips are down, you know, you can actually approach them and say, look, based on my track record, can you do this for me?
Great. Okay. All right. So I'll bring same question to you, Juliet. But then before we go there, let's talk about, because I know you're inside the school. So how's the resumption been like since it started, especially with parents and then children?
Yeah, it has been so amazing. First, we are excited. It's resumption, you know, back to school.
I get this feeling that teachers are the ones that are always excited, not parents.
That's true. Yeah. No. Parents will say, no, it's two ways.
Okay.
People will say parents are excited because it's,
please just go away.
So, you know, but on the other hand, because we love the children, so we are excited. Just like the conversation you're having, we're going to get paid at the end of the day, so we're excited. It's pay time, you know. So it has been amazing. Like she has said, discipline matters a lot. Most schools, I would say most parents are now aware of this. So it's very low, the percentage now, before you see people dragging with fees.
Oh,
yes, these
really?
are things we've been, the conversations have been on. Like for what we do, we start telling them, especially second term, this term is very short. So you pay in January, you pay in April.
Is this second term?
Yes, this second term.
Okay.
And it's really, really short.
How short?
12 weeks.
Oh.
Some persons have 11 weeks.
Okay.
It's usually 13. But most schools, they have 11 weeks. So it's really short. So you're going to pay within 4 months, you're paying twice.
Ah.
So everybody beware. So we started singing. And I think the turn up has been very good. And for the children, they came in well settled. They rested because it's a long holiday, a bit long, about three weeks, more than 3 weeks. So unlike the third term holiday or the second term holiday, which is just 2 weeks.
Okay.
So they came in well rested. Parents too came in well rested. Everybody, we're all used to the fuel subsidy thing now. We're all relaxed. So school bus is back and everything. So I think everybody's okay as at 2024. But I think the only disruption is just the insecurity that's causing a bit of unrest and worry. But every other thing, I think this resumption is one of the best.
Oh, great. Glad to hear that. Okay, but then we'll talk about the insecurity later and then the measures that especially your school is putting in place to secure children. But now, still on resumption and still with regards to children, what exactly are the curriculums that you have, especially for now, this second term, because most parents will say, okay, if it is just 12 weeks, why do I have to take my child to school? Why not just get a home teacher? So help us explain why I should send my child or my ward to school at this time.
Yeah, whether short or long, it has been taken care of. So their proper plans are in place to take care of the children. So you can't say take them out of the school system. There's a reason for bringing them in at first. First, they are going to socialize. So apart from the academic aspect of it, there's socialization. There's so now schools they've put in so many things. We have rich curriculums now, so we are not only doing academics.
Okay.
Yes, this second term it's characterized by inter-house sports. We have a lot of sports activities. So this is the term for inter-house sports. So if they're at home, They can't do that. Yeah, so there are lots of things already in the school system that doing at home. Now, when they're at home, if you want for homeschooling, they have just one teacher. But in the school, they have variety, different teachers. Yeah. So it makes learning fun. Imagine I'm seeing just one face from morning till night, and it's boring. But coming into the school system, you can talk to someone, and we're trying to build that socialization in children. You see, we hear of people being alone, you know. That's why that's why we come together, come out, speak to someone. It's very important. Okay. So it's not just only about the academics, which the school is doing a lot, but there are other aspects in child development that is also incorporated in the school system now.
Do you still have excursions?
Yes, we have lots of excursions.
Oh, great. Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so now I hear someone come out to say that it is actually good for teachers to teach children empathy, because I hear Mrs. Ngupe talk about self-discipline and financial discipline at a very early stage, 4. So then I also heard someone say how these teachers, there should be a way that they teach children how to have empathy, because most of this violence and this insecurity we see is because they didn't learn it from the early stage. So what are schools, what is your school doing in terms of teaching these children empathy, and there's no space for bullying?
Yeah, very important. So that's why we work with Ms. Ngupe. I like building habits. Okay. So that's what she was saying, teaching from 4 years old. So when it's an habit, it becomes part of them. So for my school this term, we're doing a series of training for the children. So every month we have a team. This month is anti-bully. So in the first week we taught them about love, because everything is centered on love. True. If I love you, I won't want to hurt you. So we taught them love. If you show love, it shows that you're a superhero. So we put it like that because for their age, because everything you're teaching must be age appropriate, you know. So every week has a theme. We have a program called Pastoral. So on Monday afternoon, we gather all the children. We bring someone to come and speak to them. And it's just like a training. So we keep training them. We continue. We watch out for these traits within the week. Okay. So if we see any child not practicing what has been taught, we learned about love. Why are you being mean to your friend? So we take them back. So every week there is a training for the children, and there's a particular day of the week they act it out. So each class, they have a class presentation based on the theme. So they don't just hear it. They act it and they practice it. Oh, so that's great. What we do.
Oh, great. So now I'll bring the same question to you, Ngupe. Okay. So if with regards to empathy, with regards to teaching children how to love, we know that it should be in school, but then we should also talk to parents, mothers, how they should teach their children that they should most definitely have empathy. But then I was saying the same thing to someone, and then she says, okay, what if you're talking to a parent that their children always watch them the parents fight? How do you teach such a child to have empathy?
Well, a child who is seeing their parents fight is already at a disadvantaged position, because unfortunately they are already being exposed to all this violence, and so, you know, some of that negativity is already seeping into the child's psychology, you know. So the child is already learning to be violent and, you know, just to express anger in the wrong ways. So it might be a very difficult situation to handle, you know, for a
the parent or for the teacher.
I mean, you asked how the parents, how the child can learn it in a home like that. It's almost, I mean, it's unless because the truth is children learn more when they see you do something. So if you can't come and be telling me that you need to love people like this when you're not doing it. And, you know, I say these things all the time, you know. The best way to teach your child something is to first do it. So for a child like that, if the mother of that child wants to in turn come and start talking to the child to say this is how you should treat people, and the children of nowadays, they will even ask you, but that's not how you do it.
That's not how you do it with daddy.
Exactly, that's not how you do it with daddy. So for me, I preach all these things, and the fact that I am out there saying that this is how we should act, this is how we should do things with our children, it holds me to a higher standard, because my kids, they are constantly saying to me, you said in your video, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. So constantly even having to watch myself and adjust, because I know that they will do what I'm doing, not what I'm saying.
Okay.
So that's why I started by saying that the child is already at a disadvantaged position, because the child will find it difficult to learn what the mother or the father is saying to them, even if they are saying the right thing to them.
Okay.
So the only hope that the child might have at that point will be maybe through school.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
All the things that she mentioned that happens in school, perhaps there could be some help for the child there.
So now I'm just looking at the fact that you now bring that child to school, and then you have Ms. Juliet telling the child that love, because we were taught to love your neighbor as your friend, so you know that you should not do such to your friend. How easy is it going to be for that child to actually understand it and do it when he remembers that when I go home is a different kettle of fish entirely?
Yeah, so the age of the child will matter a lot.
Okay.
But the truth is, they are growing. They are in the formative age. It will get to a time, if in the school, in the end, like I tell my teachers, let's continue doing these things. They are learning. You think they are not taking it in. They are. To show later. So whatever you keep telling that child is learning. Okay. So with time, some things take time. Everything takes time. Nothing is magical. So with time, you see the child, when the child gets back home, the child will tell the mom, this is not how to behave. So between 0 to 11, if the right values have been inculcated in the child will start playing it out. So even though the child is in a disadvantaged position, but there's something positive coming from somewhere, it will show up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so now I hear you say from 0 to 11, and then so what kind of teachings do you have, especially for children at that age, and then after that age, what kind of teachings? That's the extracurricular, not just the core academics, because now if you're trying to rebuild because you said they are that formative stage, so what kind of teachings do you dish out to these children, so that at least when they are growing up, they don't come out to become a menace to the society?
Yeah, so we say parenting is 18 years, it's an 18 years journey. So whatever you've done in 18 years, you see the report card when the child is 18.
Okay.
So that's why moral value, very important. So at 11, you start seeing the traits, what's dominant. So at 11, you start seeing, but you can still do a lot of work and it can still work. So it's not because from 11 to 18, you can still do a lot of work. So that's where environment now plays in.
Okay.
Environment is very important at that point. So yes, you just keep doing your moral values. Keep talking. Keep talking. That's from 0 to 18. Keep talking. They are hearing. So it's when they leave you, that's when you start saying. But before 18, you will know if you've done a good job or not. But by 18, you get the full record of what you've been doing. So for co-curricular, just keep engaging the children from one, keep modeling the right thing, like she said. Modeling is very important. Okay. So even if it's not coming from the home, the school is still really very important. And they tend to, whatever they learn in school, they go home to tell their parents. And that's why parents will tell you that my child said, my teacher said, my teacher said. So that's why the school is important. Because whatever the teachers say to them, they hold it in high esteem.
Even more than their parents sometimes.
Yeah. Even us as educators, our children will also tell us. My teacher
really? Your children also tell you the same thing?
Yes, of course.
And then you just hear that, no, my teacher said it's not like that. And then you're like, but I'm also a teacher.
Yeah, so keep talking.
Okay.
Just keep talking, yeah.
Awesome. All right, so I'll come back to you, Ms. Ngupe, because I hear someone say that I got a social media question, and then someone says, how do I actually, I'm trying to paraphrase the question because it was quite lengthy, and then the person is actually talking about her child who is 11 and cannot speak properly. So I just told her, okay, just watch today's edition of the conversation. We're going to have school teachers talk to you about it. So when you have children who are trying to talk at that age, but they're not clear enough from home, what would they do before they now go to school? We would send the same thing to Juliet.
Well, it really depends. I'm trying to understand if is it that the child is not able to articulate their ideas well enough, or is it a communication problem, or is it a speech?
I think it's a speech problem.
It's a speech problem. Well, at 11, if a child has speech problem at 11, then it means that that child actually needs a proper assessment, speech assessment by one of the special needs people.
Okay.
Someone who is specialized in special needs. Because
but we'll not conclude that he's a child with special needs. Yeah?
No, you can't, because you can't. The child has to first of all go through the assessment so that they know the extent of what you're describing. It's hard for me to even say much on this topic, because myself, I have not seen the child, I have not heard the child speak, so a professional has to actually experience this child and take them through some assessments for us to know what exactly is going on. But at 11, wow, that means this has actually gone on for all these years, because it probably didn't start now. Usually when a child is 2, 3, 4, 5, you have to start checking to see. I mean, there are certain milestones that a child is supposed to hit at different ages. So if the child is not hitting some of those milestones, it's always good practice to get the opinion of people who are trained for these things, speech therapists and things like that, so that they know exactly what is causing the speech delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that child is brought to school, because according to her, she said he's going to school. So I'm just wondering how they've been able to deal with the child even in school. So what exactly would you advise such person?
Okay, so at 11, that's what she was trying to raise. What have they done before now? So I noticed this in parents. Parents are not observant. And sometimes they blame the school. Oh, you didn't notice. At that 11, I can imagine it's possible for a parent to come to the school and say, you did not know that my child has speech delay. Oh, the child sleeps with you at home and you are the parent. So parents should be more observant, because right now, for cases like that, things in this disability, it's a disability already, Early detection is important. Early intervention is very important. So at 2 years, any speech delay, I tell my parents, don't worry, let's watch. Yeah. At 3, okay, let's pay attention. At 4, you need to seek help.
So at 4, that's when you now start to seek help.
Yes. Okay. Yes. But some parents who are very observant, from 2, they go seek help, and the doctors most times will tell them, don't worry. So at least you've gone to a professional, so you have that. So at 11, if that child is coming, it's very simple and clear. There's already a challenge, and that child must be helped.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Let's go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue this conversation with Ngupe Afiemo and Juliet Courage. I will definitely see you after this time out. Please stay.
So for parents, what I would say is you have to realize that the children that have been placed in your lives are like a scorecard for you.
Okay.
You have a responsibility to impact on them majorly through your character. So the children will copy you. They will replicate what they see you do.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation, reaching you from Kafan's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Now, if you just joined us, you've actually missed out on the first part of the show, but then you can still join the second part as we're still talking school resumption and how to deal with children, especially when you take them to school. And then now we'll talk about insecurity and securing the lives of our children, especially when they go to school. My guest on the show today is Ngupe Afiemo, who is an educational consultant and character education advocate. And we also have Juliet Courages-Oshionwu, who is Director of Milestone Academy. Okay, so now let's talk about insecurity. Let's go to insecurity and then securing people, especially in Abuja.
Okay.
With the, I think I should take it first to Juliet. With the rising spate of insecurity, especially in FCT, a lot of people say, okay, we used to hear these things in the north central, the northern part, the core north, but now, unfortunately, it has come, and then it keeps increasing every day. So what exactly are the measures that schools have put in place and are still putting in place to ensure that children are safe from the moment they leave their houses to the school, down to when the school bus or people come to pick their children back home?
So security, it's everywhere, but we just have to do something. And well, the spiritual aspect is there. So when that is taken care of, first I say security or safety, it starts from the home. Safety starts from the home. So before resumption, I tell parents to have conversations with their children. They must know who will pick them up, from the feeding to when they're closing. The children must be aware, so that if there's anything, like if there's a need for suspicion, the children will know.
Okay.
Very important. So I think schools these days,
when you say sorry, I have to bother. When you say feeding, is it feeding at home?
No,
or in school?
In school, yes.
Okay, so that means you communicate with parents.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
great.
yes.
Okay.
So a child should know the meal they bring to school, in case there's a swap. So
Oh,
can say,
okay.
oh, my mom told me
Absolutely.
jollof rice. Why am I saying this?
Okay.
And the school immediately will put a call across, because anything can happen. That's part of the security
Okay.
and safety. Yes. So when it comes to bringing them to school and taking them, we advise parents as much as you can, limit the number of persons that can pick your children from school. Not today, this person. No. As much as you can. So when you've done that, then I think schools these days, almost all schools, we have CCTV cameras in school. We have
And you have people sitting down there.
yeah. No. We may not have, but I think that's part of the reviewing of the security. But because of this term is peculiar, so everybody, at least by the end of the day, we all have it on our phones.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we review. Is there someone like the chief security officer in the school also has in his phone? So from time to time, we check, we go around. So if on a normal, but before the resumption, we did risk assessment.
Okay.
Yes, we needed to check the risk assessment, and we found out we needed more security. Thank God for Nigerian police. At least their presence can do a lot in the school system, and we have other security outfits that are helping schools. Then your location is very important. My location is in an estate that has so many security officers around.
Okay.
So we are covered in that way. So in the school now, we now have specific procedures: who pick up and who drop and who pick up. Very important. So if there is a change, you must send the person's picture, the person's ID card, the person's full name. So we don't, and another thing we do is, even when we have those information, when the person comes, we don't just carry the child and give. No,
Okay.
we wait for some time.
Why are you waiting
Where
for
we
some
come
time?
from. We just need to, everybody be patient. There's no rush.
Okay.
Even if it's pick up time.
Okay.
There's no rush. So we need to be sure again. So we called the parent again, and we get proper confirmation. It's just for security purposes, because times are evil. So we need to be extra careful. So I think the CCTV systems in school, they are doing a great job. Then parents too, they're doing a good job. Just most times one person should pick up. Then in terms of emergency, you need to follow procedure. It's not a rush.
Okay.
Proper procedures needs to be followed. And like I said, educate your children. let them know so many things.
I like the fact that you said that you have when you ask them what they came to school with, the food they came to school with, and then so that they're able to check and then be sure. Okay, so how about the school bus? Because most times you see if I drive carelessly, call this number, and then you call the number but nobody's speaking, or you call the number and it looks like okay, nobody's responding or doing the right thing. So how about school bus? What are the measures to put in place in terms of school bus picking or taking children back home?
Yeah, so that's why, there are so many regulations on school bus. The Federal Road Safety Corps. Now, for speeding now, there are speed limits. In every bus. It's a compulsory parameter for school bus in FCT. So they can't pass a specific speed limit. But I think for schools, some persons are kind enough that even when they call the number, it's not going through. They go to the school to let them know your numbers are not going through.
Okay.
But for us, the numbers are going through. Most of the numbers are my personal number.
Oh,
so that they can reach me directly. So I get the call. And for some persons, like you said, they can call someone and the person will not do anything. It's just this work relationship that we are not balancing well. The person may not want to come and report the driver and all that. So schools, I think they are doing more, but they can still do more. Make sure the numbers are reachable because they are children. There are sometimes really you see school buses on the road and you're like, are you running to?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think that's why road safety now brought speed limits. You must install the speed tracker on each bus.
Okay.
So I think it's helping too. And street instructions. You don't pick anybody, any other person. You don't drop any other person. So even if you're going to a child's house and you see the child's grandma, you're not supposed to pick. So it's strict. When you get to the house, you pick. And I think now for us, what we did, we made our routes very convenient. If you're going to Gwarimpa, you don't come out of there. If you're going to this other location, you're just going to the location. You drop and you come back to school.
Okay.
So just because of the insecurity, if not, they can conveniently go round and round. Abuja roads are good, but now we are trying to limit the movement.
Okay.
So you don't carry children round the city.
Exactly.
It's no longer safe. Yeah.
Okay, then so then when you now have like when you drop off or you pick up children, because now some other persons will say that okay, I cannot go to pick up my child, so maybe I'll tell my neighbor to help me pick up my child who is still in the same school. How do you deal with such situation?
We must get confirmation from the parents. We can't release another person's child to someone else.
Okay. Even if they've been doing it before?
No.
Okay.
Yes, it has stopped. The parents must confirm. Because of insecurity, we heard the story some time ago that the neighbor picked the children, part of one of the northern states, and it's now stories. No. And they are not our children. You kept them in my care. So I should be able to. You don't just come and say, because we are neighbors, let me... No. I don't know if you even greeted the other... We are Nigerians. That morning and you're coming to pick the children, so we don't do that. So you need to call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'll bring the same question to you, Ms. Ngupe. So is there any other safety measures that she must have not explained that we should talk about, especially from the home before you now go to school? How would you actually advise parents to be safety conscious, especially those living in the FCT?
I think nothing too different from what she said so far, except that the children need to know that even if it's a familiar person that comes to get you, as far as I didn't, authorize it, I didn't tell you, and then the school also, like, after playing their part, sometimes it's important for the parent to also speak to their child, because after I've told you at home that no matter how familiar you are with somebody, as far as I didn't tell you, the instruction didn't come from me. Don't go with them. Some children can be so they adhere to instructions,
especially children of these days.
Yeah. Exactly. So the parent might call the school, say, okay, please, I'm unable to come. I've sent somebody to pick them. And then the child will refuse to go until the parent speaks to them. So parents should insist. till it gets to that point where the children actually refuse to, even if it is Miss Juliet that is telling me to go, I'm not going to go until I hear your voice, mommy, or until I hear your voice, daddy. You possibly even a video call, you know, you telling, and I'm seeing that it is you telling, because the clone voices now, for heaven's sake, voices can be cloned. So it might sound like
AI.
Yes, it might sound like daddy, but it may not be him. Do you understand? So there isn't, we can't do too much when it comes to this. And then on the side of the school, one thing that I must add, the school also, they must have like an exit strategy for cases of emergency.
Okay.
Schools ought to have like alternative exits, you know, in within the school, so that if you know, anything is happening and, you know, people need to get out of the school, there should be a system for that to happen, and the children need to be drilled for that procedure, you know, in preparation for that procedure, so that when any time that happens, they know what to do.
Oh, great. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's move straight to discussing about character education, especially for children. How would you actually, what is the kind of job that you do? Because now, when someone hears, okay, she's a character education advocate, I'm sure in one of my viewers' mind, they're like, okay, what exactly is the job of a character? Can you explain that to us? What do you do for the children?
Okay, so we all know that good character or solid character, strong character is one of the prerequisites to success. So when I was talking earlier, I mentioned discipline as just one of them. When I work with people, when I consult, you know, do trainings and things like that, I focus on something known as the 24 character strengths. They are a set of strengths that every human being is born with, but not everybody is born with them as strengths. Some come with them as weaknesses. That is why you see that some people are very courageous, while some people have low courage levels,
or withdrawn.
Some people are very loving in their character. You know, anywhere they go, they just exude love. You know, they share easily and all that. And you see it right from childhood. You would agree with me that even in the early years class, when I say early years, I mean the classes that have 0 to 5-year-olds, you will already see children that are kind.
Yeah.
And you will already see children that are mean.
Yeah.
But that does, so what character education tries to bring out is the fact that the mean child, is not like that child does not have any iota of kindness in them. It's just that they need to be helped. There are ways that we can teach children to all increase the levels of their character strengths, their character traits, so that they become strengths. Because the fact that you're not good in something does not mean that you can never be good in that thing. Maybe you may never be able to get to a certain point that someone who is extremely good at it can get to, but then you can improve on your level of this thing. So a character strength like perseverance, for example, if you teach children how to, if you take children through experiences that will help them to persevere, then when they grow up, you will have people who actually start things and finish them. People who do not have perseverance as a character strength, they leave things halfway.
Yeah.
They are not finishers. So when you see people who actually power on through difficult circumstances, those are people who have high levels of grit and perseverance. So we want children to be able to get to that stage where these character traits actually become strengths
for them.
And it's not just for children, because even adults, even teachers, educators, we only, because I mean, we've passed through childhood and nobody really cared your level of perseverance, your level of love, your level of empathy, your level, nobody cared. We just kind of stumbled through life and got where we are. So even adults need these trainings. So right now, I'm in conversations with people where they're saying, oh, come to our organization and train our staff on the 24 character strengths. Let's see how we can start something with that. So it's valid for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, not just children.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. So now I'll bring the question to you, but then I'll ask you, Ms. Juliet, with regards to, because you talked about adults. Now, talking about teachers, what exactly are the schools, or what is your school doing with regards to how you can teach teachers to have empathy, because you cannot give what you don't have? So what are the steps that you take to ensure that you're having the right teachers teaching children the right lessons that they should learn?
Yeah, so we do the Montessori curriculum, or the Montessori philosophy, that says that you don't assume someone knows something. You teach the child everything. So that's the same thing we bring into our system for adults. So anybody joining us, we don't assume, oh, this person is supposed to be empathetic, this person is supposed to be loving. No, we teach them. So we train them.
Oh, so you train someone to how to, like an adult, train them how to love?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yes,
okay.
We train them. So we have series of trainings. So both on character, which we are talking on now, and our values. What do we want to see in the adults? Because, like I said, and that's the same thing we had to bring to the children now. We don't assume an adult knows everything or has a character strength, because they will struggle. They will struggle. So that's what we do. We train our teachers. Okay, because we want.
Because the reason why I ask this question is because most people will just tell you that there's no job anywhere. So most people will just stumble into teaching because we just found it. It's not like we have it as a passion. But then we will just keep hearing people say teaching is supposed to be a calling, not just a profession.
Yeah. That's true.
So when you have people who just stumbled at the job because that was the only thing available, how do you now deal with such people?
Two ways. They either drop out. They don't even last up to 1 month. For a system like mine, because you need to come down to the level of the child, very down. So both in hearts, you need to have the heart of a child for you to be able to teach a child. If not, if you want to have the heart of an adult, you will kill the child. Because these children are. So when you know, oh, we are all children. When the child spills water, the child did not know. We are all children. We can do it. Yes. So by the time they go through our trainings and they see that there's supervision for practice. We've taught you empathy. We want to see it in the classroom. So most times, those that stumble into the profession, they don't last in the profession. They don't last. No. They run out because they ran in, so they just run out. But there are some that actually they stumbled into it, but they now, I think I can do this. Yeah. So those are people who are teachable. Who they have love. And seeing the children, there are people, yes, they fell in love with the children. And they are ready to learn everything they need. Learn both the character, the strength, everything they need to be able to thrive. I have at least 1 or 2 of them that they will tell you, I never thought I'd be a teacher. But no job, it's prevalent. They came in and they came to love it. And they developed themselves. So yeah, both ways. They can go out or they can now adapt into the system.
All right, even as we begin to round up, let's get your last word first to parents and then to children, because this particular episode is for everyone, to parents, to children, and then to teachers.
Yeah, so to parents, the school is not a dumping ground. The school is a place where it's a second home. So parents should please, as often as they can, as much as they can, collaborate with the school. The school is not, you're not enemies with the school. No, these are your children's second parents. So collaborate with them. It's a partnership. So just know that you've gone into a partnership with someone else for the future of your children, the destiny of your children. So please partner with the children, with the school.
Okay.
It's not, we are not fighting because we are collecting your money doesn't mean we don't do it. So it's partnership you've gone into. So please partner with the school. Then cooperate with the school. Whatever the school has said they want to do or they will do, cooperate with them. There's a reason for everything, you know, to cooperate. For the children, speak with them. They can hear you. They know what they want. They know what they're doing. Please speak. We notice that parents will think, oh, she's just a child. No, please, they're not just children. Speak with them. Have conversations with them. Have team bonding time with them. Create time for the children. Yeah, so as much as we can, so that we can have a wonderful term. Thank you.
Then the teachers.
Yeah, so for the teachers, this is what we're called to do. Yeah. So I tell myself it's a mandate. Yeah, so it's not just a career, it's not just a profession, it's a mandate for me. So we are here. Let's do our best. A child in primary nursery school will spend 9 years with you. Don't waste one day of those 9 years. Every day is important. So whatever you're giving to the child, assess yourself. Have I done something good today? Every day is important. So teachers, as much as you can, make every day count for every child.
Absolutely spot on. All right, now let's get your last words to parents and then to children, because I, especially in terms of character development or character building, then to teachers also.
Okay, so for parents, what I would say is you have to realize that the children that have been placed in your lives are like a scorecard for you.
Okay.
You have a responsibility to impact on them majorly through your character. So the children will copy you. They will replicate what they see you do. So you have to bear that in mind every time. Before you act anything, before you act out anything in front of the children, you need to think again. How is it going to affect my child? What is the lesson that my child is going to get out of my behavior? So if you do that, you're going to find that you are guided all the time when you interact with your children. For children, you said children, right?
Children, yes.
For children, what I would say is just have an open mind. So open-mindedness is one of the things that you need to thrive in this generation. Have an open mind. Just be ready to learn. Accept correction, because the people that have gone ahead of you, they can see beyond what you can see right now. So just be open-minded to accept every correction that comes your way, as far as you know that it is for your progress. Okay, so open-mindedness is something that I'll advise every child to embrace for this season that we're in. And then for teachers, my advice to you is similar to what I've just said to the parents. You need to realize that if you educate one child, you have impacted many generations. So don't just look at every child in your class as just one person.
Okay.
Because inside of that child is many generations. So you need to do your best to impact your best part, the best part of you, in the child that you have with you. And I also want you to realize that every child in your classroom is special to their parents. So remember that every child you're dealing with is somebody's egg, somebody's special prized possession. So treat them as such.
Okay, because you talked about children, when you talked about they should be open-minded, especially when they're dealing with this generation. Now, I hear people say that this generation, Gen Zs, the alpha generation, the beta generations, they give them so many kind of lazy, they're not, they're always faster than their shadow and all. So if you have to deal with such children, how do you actually deal, especially as a parent and even as an educator?
Well, Miss Juliet kept on saying, don't stop, just keep at it, keep educating them, keep guiding them. As much as possible, you have to keep yourself updated as well.
Yeah.
There are trends that are coming out all the time. Don't be obsolete just because you are the mom. You need to keep yourself, you have to be aware of what is happening. Because if you're completely unaware of what is happening, that's when you might just be seeing the things they are doing as offensive. But sometimes if you really get in there and know for yourself what is happening, then you will know the direction that you should come in order to guide them. And most times when children know that you know what's up, then they are more likely to listen to you. But when it seems like you're coming from the standpoint of complete ignorance, or just because you're not on TikTok or you don't know what is happening on TikTok, you don't want me to be on TikTok. Why exactly shouldn't I be on TikTok? Do you understand? So I feel like parents also need to be on top of their game. They also need to be fast. They need to be fast-paced. They need to move with the times as well. That is not to say that you should water down your values in any way, but you just need to be aware so that you know where to come from.
So same thing works for teachers, actually, because now you're actually teaching or dealing with this Gen Z that they are fast. So how do you now deal, especially when you have to teach them? And then I remember we were saying something off cam, and then I said, okay, because you are at least the current parent kind of teacher. But then some parents would say, why is this teacher teaching my child how to do TikTok? It's not in our religion, or it's not in my moral. So how do you deal with that then?
Just to be open-minded and be fast. I call myself a Gen Z school owner.
Okay.
Yeah, so everybody in my system, they're all Gen Zs. So we are just fast. And that's why teaching learning has changed. It's no longer the way it used to be. It must be fun now. Everything is fun because the way they assimilate is different. They are very fast to learn, fast to forget. So you must bring in things that will make sure to keep whatever you've taught. So method has changed. Have you changed as a teacher? So that's where it comes in. So we just keep moving faster. We have to be faster than these children.
Okay, so I was then asking that, what if you now have a parent who says that it is not in line with our beliefs? How do you deal?
So what I tell the parents is, I'm not teaching you, I'm teaching your child. So whatever I am teaching, it's not for you. You've done your own. So just keep it that way. But for the child. So that's why, because we are not watering down anything, but it's just our method has changed. So we tell, like she just said TikTok, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, and you want to teach the children social media. Everything goes on social media these days. Even entrepreneurs, you want to sell. So I have to teach your child how to use these tools. So that's where the school is coming in. So we need to teach them the positive aspect of it and let them know there are dangers in it. So they need to be taught. So that by the time they are in, any of the red flags, they are able to detect. But when the parent now says, why are you teaching my child Instagram?
Especially for parents that says that, no, we don't want social media. I don't want to learn social media.
We educate them.
The parents also.
Yeah, the parents, yes, we need to. We do that always.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Thank you. It's actually been a wonderful time having this conversation with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we have been chatting with Ngupe Afiemo, educational consultant and character education advocate. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time. It's always a pleasure having this talk with you, though.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, and thank you so much, Juliet Courages-Oshionwu, who is Director of Milestone Academy. Thank you for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, viewers, that's where we end this conversation for today. I'm sure you must have been rightly educated, entertained, and informed, even as a teacher, as a parent, and even as a child or as a youth. There's actually something for everyone. It's been a wonderful time here on The Conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in and for sending all the messages that you've been sending. We'll definitely read them out later on or in the next episode. If you want to watch more or a previous episode, you can find them on our YouTube channel, and that's on Kaftan Television. My name is Annabelle Oji. Have yourselves a very wonderful day, and please remember to stay safe, be security conscious. See something, say something. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, all. I am Annabelle Oji.